Okay, so hi everyone and welcome back to Faith Brunel's Insights. I'm Faith Brunel. Today we have Jordan with us. Hi Jordan, welcome to the show. So Jordan, could you introduce yourself to the listeners for us, please?
My name is Jordan Adelekan. I'm 23. I have a fashion label, Inspire Dynasty. I'm also an author, and as of this Saturday, so tomorrow, I'll also be having a podcast myself as well, which is cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Perfect timing for the interview then, isn't it? So we can ask you some questions about that as well. So that wasn't actually planned, but you know what? God works in mysterious ways. So I'll make a note of that actually to ask about your podcast as well. So wonderful. So thank you, Jordan, and thank you for agreeing to appear on Faith Brunel's Insights today. And I'm so happy that you two are going to be launching your own podcast, because podcasting is so fun, it's so engaging, and it really allows you basically to meet new people and to talk about topics and things that you enjoy. So I wish you all the best with your next endeavor. So Jordan, let's talk a little bit about this then. So let's talk a little bit about your educational history. So it didn't have to be a lot, but could you just kind of tell the listeners a bit about your educational history?
Yeah, so I went to even going back to, I've actually even set up a new fashion line as well, so we can even speak about that. So
yeah, speak about that as well. Let's speak about that as well.
So cool educational background.
Yeah.
I used to live in Blackheath, Kidbrook. That's where I was born in Greenwich, but I was living in Charlton for about the first 2 years of my life. Then we moved to Blackheath. I went to Kidbrook Park Primary School when I was in Blackheath. I left there around year 2, I think. Prior to that, I was going to a nursery in Westminster, I think, because my mum, she works in Westminster, so it was just easier for us to go. She's an IT manager there at the university. So obviously left Kidbrook now. Year 2, quite upset, leaving all my friends. We've moved now to Bexley Heath. I've gone to St. Thomas More Primary School, which was about a 10-minute walk from my house, which was nice. Then following on from primary school, I went on to St. Columbus Secondary School. Again, is in the area of Bexley Heath. From there, done the GCSEs, obviously. I got about, I think, 10 GCSEs. Obviously at the time, I was playing football. So when I was younger, I played for Bromley. I was at Charlton for a bit, Millwall for a bit as well. So when I didn't get a scholarship, obviously I went to sixth form, normal sixth form, which was Christ the King in Sidcup. And obviously I had the grades and everything to do A-levels, but they didn't want me to do them because they were just saying, just with the football and everything, they were saying it would have been too much for me.
Yeah, it would have been a lot,
So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. Obviously I was training every day. I was going gym twice a day, training twice a day.
Commitment.
So just like revising and doing the course got left. So I decided to do a BTEC level 3 in the end, which was business. Thank God, because a year into it, all my friends that was doing A-levels was just complaining, and I was like, damn, like, definitely wouldn't have been able to. I probably just would have scrapped it, and then
I understand.
It's not what I wanted to do anyway. Done my first year. I finished with a triple distinction star, which is like an equivalent to like A star.
Okay, it's really good.
Yeah, so with that, it was cool. Essentially, with BTECs, if you like smash out the first year, the second year is very, very relaxed. So my whole thing was smash the first year, so the second year is not really too, pretty much just.
That's a good strategy. Yeah, it's a good strategy. Yeah.
So second year, to be honest, like I didn't even really have to go to lessons much because I was just so ahead of everyone else. So instead of being in a lesson, I was able to be in a gym. Training as well, because I'd done a lot of the work that everyone else was trying to do. I finished my second year about 3-4 months early. I was so ahead.
That is good.
And obviously got my grades, everything left. So at the same time come where obviously everyone's applied to uni in Newcastle. I didn't go. And my form tutor at the time, obviously he's helping us, everyone in the form doing Newcastle.
The applications.
Have you done your UCAS? And I was like, no. And he was, oh, how come? I was like, I'm not sure. I don't think I'm gonna go. And the thing I loved about my form tutor he my form tutor in secondary school as well.
Yeah.
Also, so my form tutor in secondary school.
Yeah.
He was I wasn't the best behaved kid for like the first 3 years of secondary school. It was quite bad.
Yeah.
But he like didn't put me in a box.
Yeah.
He just saw something in me like that I didn't even see myself. And then come year 9, he called my mum in and just like had a conversation with her, just saying that he doesn't really usually do this, but he said that he really believes that I can be someone and become something, like whatever it is. And obviously that touched me quite a lot. So from year 9, I started to like fix up. Again, I was just there, the classes and everything, and he couldn't believe it. Just like, he knew it was going to happen. Obviously, to just see it was mad. I think parents he even cried when my mum come see him, because like so happy. So yeah, no, but my sixth form tutor, he again, like, he always believed in me. He knew that I was an intelligent boy, making wise decisions. So he wasn't too worried that I didn't apply to UCAS. He just said that he trusts me and he knows that if I'm not doing that, then it's for an obvious reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So I didn't have any pressure there.
Yeah.
Obviously, parents, I told them I wasn't going to apply because obviously these times it was just football.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I'm just working very hard every day with football, in the gym a lot, training a lot every day. So yeah, but my parents, they didn't believe that I wasn't actually going to apply. So when it came to September of that year and everyone's supposed to be gone, I was still at home. And I was like, "Why are you still here?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I told you guys I'm applying." And then they was like, "Oh wow, like, okay, but why?" My parents are cool. Like, they've never forced me to do anything. They always trusted my judgment, but they always like voiced their opinion.
Right.
Yeah. So obviously that was happening. I didn't have a job either, so I was literally just training and going gym like just all the time.
Yeah.
And then when sixth form came to an end, that was when I started my fashion label, Inspire Dynasty. I think about a couple months before it ended. So the people who I was in sixth form with, they kind of got to see like the beginning stages of it.
Right.
It was nice. I got bringing some hats from my first collection, which they all was like hyped over. Teachers as well, saying a lot of nice things to me as well.
That's really interesting.
So, yeah, now I'm balancing football and everything like that.
Yeah.
With the whole finishing school and everything like that.
Yeah.
But then that's the school background I went on, and then
Yeah, that's really, really interesting, actually, Jordan. Thank you for sharing that with myself and the listeners. I mean, yeah, excuse me. I think that's really interesting, though, to see how, like, you know, there was someone who believed in you and saw something in yourself that you didn't even see. And I think that it's really important because there's always going to be that person who will believe in you. And I'm glad that that person was there. And I'm glad that you really, you know, even though you didn't go to university, it was good in a sense because you've followed what you wanted to do. And I think we have to come out of the stigma that we have to go to university. Obviously, I'm at university, so I'm not completely, you know, I'm not bringing it down, or I'm not saying universities are good, but I'm saying that if you don't want to go to university, you shouldn't feel like you should have to go just to fit, just to fit into the status quo, right? Just because everybody else is going doesn't mean you should necessarily go if you don't see yourself there. And that's what I'd really echo. I'd say that really stemming from your point, don't just follow what everyone else is doing for fear of being shunned. Do what you want to do. So if you want to do a BTEC, if you want to, instead of A levels, do that. If you want to do a degree apprenticeship instead of doing, instead of going to university, and then do that, because it's up to you and it's your life as well, and you should spend it doing what you really like. So that's what I really want to echo there. And just once again, Jordan, thank you for sharing those great thoughts around your educational history and how you eventually got into basically starting and setting up your own fashion label. I'm just gonna Okay, Jordan. So now let's talk about Inspire Dynasty. So what was the catalyst that caused you to start your own business? I think you briefly spoke about this before, but anything else that kind of was the catalyst that caused you to start your own business that you haven't already mentioned?
To be honest, it was, like when I finished this form and I started to just basically football full time. It was stressful, but it wasn't like, I would probably say everything I'm doing now is a lot more stressful, but it's more, like when you're thriving through something more than something else, the stress, even though it's more, it might not
Yeah.
seem as burden. Yeah, so that was the
Yeah.
case with that. Football was very like, there was a lot of politics. So for example, like when I didn't get the scholarships, I just went to play men's football semi-professionally from
Right.
16. So yeah, obviously just even that was a disadvantage, especially anyone that plays like non-league football semi-professional. They know that managers have family relatives and friends playing in the team,
Yeah.
and it's very messy. So I was obviously, I'm thinking I have the mindset of like the professional game and just that sort of field. So I'm thinking I'm coming to training early, I'm leaving last, I'm putting in the work more than everyone else, surely. And of course, I'm one of the better players, of course, like surely I have to be playing. And obviously that wasn't the case. And when I realized that, I was just like, this is not an area where, I'm going to excel in, not because I couldn't, but more so because the odds were weighed against me. And I'm all for taking on obstacles and having odds against me. But this
It's like a new level of stuff. Yeah.
wasn't one of the wiser ones to take the challenge on with. So that's why I started the fashion brand. It was a bit of peace for me away from the football and everything like that. And I started to fall in love with it. A lot of people started to show a lot of appreciation
for it. Yeah.
I started to. There was a season when I said, "Oh, I'm gonna not go to preseason this year.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna do fashion and see what happens in these 3 months." And I remember the days I was supposed to have training, I actually ended up going to like getting invited to like these events, getting invited to like a lot of like celebrities' houses as well.
Yeah.
It's mad for me because I didn't even know how it come about.
Yeah.
I was in a house with Talisa from N-Dubs. We became cool from then. I also went to an event where my jammer was there and she was wearing my stuff as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It was
really
mad.
good.
Like, I had like Young Bane, a lot of professional footballers, just a lot of people showing me a lot of love. And I was like, wow, this wouldn't have happened because I was supposed to be at training or matches on those exact days.
Yeah.
That's when I said, you know what, let me
start this
away for now and just really
focus on this.
And essentially for me, it was just all about inspiring a generation.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of young people, they feel like the things they want to do that they can't do them.
Yeah.
They maybe have to suffice to routes that maybe they don't want to go down. That is not true to themselves. Obviously, I wanted to kind of show you can be no one from nowhere, and then eventually one day become someone from somewhere, regardless of how long it takes. Even now, of course, like a lot of people always say, like, you're on the right path. But even me, I'd probably say this is one of my weaknesses. I'm very like critical of myself. I'm very like, on myself. But again, it's hard to not be when the vision is so big.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you said earlier as well, like people just wanted to do what they wanted to do. Like with university, I think at the time I had a very weird perspective of university.
Right. Yeah. I see.
Very like just against it completely. But now being older and seeing perspectives, like I'm actually probably one day when I'm older, I'm actually gonna go and just go to
enjoy.
It's nice to learn. I like learning. I like educating myself. I love reading books.
Wonderful.
And uni, just like the opportunity to learn something new, something cool, something fresh.
Exactly.
I feel like the reason I didn't want to go now was because obviously just the timing of all of this.
Yeah, a lot to do, a lot to manage and balance.
Yeah, I didn't want to knock it off.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that's happened when I should have been in uni, it wouldn't have happened. And those have been, big highlights of everything that's gone down.
Everything that's happened. Yeah, great. Honestly, great. That's really insightful, really interesting, actually. And I'm really glad for you that you had the opportunity for celebrities and footballers, I think you mentioned, to wear your stuff as well, to wear your products. And that's really honestly interesting. I think it showed that university might not have been the right thing for you at the time, but maybe like later down the line, then you can go and like embark on that journey. I think that pressuring yourself just to fit the aesthetic or fit the, go and do something because everybody else is doing it, to fit the status quo, is it actually going to benefit you in the long run? It's going to cause you to be wishing that you didn't do that, and you'll be really filled with regret. And I think that's what's important about you, that you actually done what you wanted to do, and it's actually benefited you in the long run. And so again, I'd echo that, that to the listeners, that you need to do things that interest you, that inspire you. And I really want to just pause there when you mentioned that your whole aim of this business, right, is to inspire other people. I completely share the same sentiment as you, because the reason I started the Faith and Other Insights podcast was to show people that if I can do it, they can do it as well. And my mantra is that, becoming a barrister or indeed achieving anything in life isn't an event, it's a journey. It might not happen tomorrow, but over a longer period of time it will happen. So I'm really glad, Jordan, that you picked up on that, to show others that they are capable of doing that as well. And that's what's important. I think that you're very inspirational in that respect, to show people that if you have an idea, if you have a vision, I love that word, vision. If you have a vision, it can come to pass when you put the work in as well. So I want to just delve a bit more into, so what do you sell then? What is your product range?
So we sell tracksuits, hats, bags, we've done socks, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, cargo pants, sliders, jackets.
A range.
Yeah, like pretty much everything.
Like the multiplicity of stuff. That's good. That's a good range. So like, if anyone wanted to buy any of these items, where could they buy them online then? So
essentially InspireDynasty.co.uk. And either you can go to my Instagram as well at Jordan Inspire. And I've got a link set with just like everything to like my book, the fashion website, and just everything else as well that people
perfect. Okay, so am I right in saying that you have a link tree, right? A link tree?
Yeah,
same. I love Linktree. It's so good to consolidate everything and put it all in one place. It's honestly
it's easier.
It's such a gem. Jordan, so do you have any tips for those wanting to start their own business then?
I think just the realness of it. I feel like a lot of the times people try to water down the experience of it, especially in the beginning. Everyone always talks about just the positive side of it, but no one's really as transparent of it as the real side of it. I feel like, of course, be inspired, don't give up, keep going. The only time to probably give up is maybe if you feel like there's another path that's correct for you, which in essence is not even giving up in itself, but just redirection. Love what you do. Don't do anything just for money. Do it because of passion and purpose, and allow it to live yourself. And I feel like, of course, the stuff no one really wants to tell you, like, it will be hard. You'll go days where you have no sales at all. You'll be days when your back pushed against the wall. You will face your darkest days as well. It's very tough. And I had to embrace all of that, the harsh sides of it. I had to ask myself, would I be okay, and would I still go as hard as I do if no one's buying anything? And obviously the answer was yes, which showed to me that it's not for the money, because if you're doing it for money, when no sales is coming, you're gonna
be a huge deterrent.
And I think as well, a lot of people, they depend on motivation, but I always tell people to not rely on it because it's very inconsistent. I usually tell people to let inspiration lead you, which links to purpose, and allow discipline to guide you as well, which links to commitment to it. So those two things I would say are core essentials, because inspiration is the vision of how big it is, and that allows the vision to pull you. And the discipline is you committing to it. So again, those two things are very important. But ultimately do what you love. Money should never be the first thought as to why you want to do something, but rather, what do I love doing? And from that place, you're able to be your best because you love it, not because you're getting paid for it. That's what allows you to even get paid more for what you're doing. I always tell people that I had a girl, she modeled for me. She just loved modeling. I had a few people who wanted to model, but they didn't want to come because I wasn't paying them. But this girl, she was just like, I want some experience. I love modeling. It'd be a pleasure to just be able to increase my portfolio. She came, and then she messaged me the next week saying she got signed to an agency because of that shoot.
Bigger picture.
Was misguided. And I always tell people,
misguided.
She's doing very, very well. And I always tell people, like, she took the opportunity especially with business, you have to be able to see opportunity when there's no
Yes.
paycheck attached to it, because those are what can open the doors for you to make even bigger bags, you know, rather than just going directly for it. So yeah, just love what you do. Be consistent, be disciplined, be inspired. Never let anyone tell you you can't do it. Always believe that you can do everything.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Great
you can
stuff.
do anything, but you can't do everything.
Yeah.
So allow your time to, you know, be minimal with your direction and put everything you've got into that.
Yeah, really great, really interesting, honestly, to sit here and listen to you talk about that. I think that my younger sister Bethany actually she spoke to me about motivation, that you can't rely on it because it is very inconsistent, right? Because one day you can be motivated, the next day you're not, and so you can't rely on that. You have to have that vision behind that. You have to have that goal, that desire, that inspiration, as you were saying as well, to get you, to get you to where you want to be. I think even mentioning that young woman, who modeled for you, right, and she saw that bigger picture. She knew that she had a passion for modeling. She knew she wanted to do it, and now she's modeling for Misguided, right? And I think that shows the true passion and dedication and true interest, right, in what she was doing. And I think what you also mentioned about the business, that there are harsh realities of starting a business. It's not all going to be fun, all the time. You will experience some kind of droughts, right, of not making any sales, of struggling to balance it all. I think that is a really realistic depiction of what starting a business is like. I think it's very idealized, it's very romanticized in the media, where starting a business means that tomorrow you've made 1,000 sales. No, not necessarily, but as you keep pushing, as you keep working on it, you will get to that to that final goal. So great, Jordan, thank you again. So what do you enjoy most about running and owning your own business?
I think the thing I love the most, there's so many things. I think ultimately it's the expression of my thoughts and emotions, to be able to paint that picture through clothes and fabrics and garments and silhouettes. But more importantly, the best feeling is, to see that people are embracing things I've spent hours working on, and that it makes them feel good, and that they feel like they can step out and feel like they're the best looking person in the world. And that they feel that because of something I've done for them. So it's nice. Like my purpose is always related to how you can benefit others. And I think for me, like that's, if I'm able to make others feel great, if I'm able to just allow others to have the value end of whatever I'm doing, then I'm happy and I've done my job. So again, like it's, even with fashion, it was never about directly trying to make the most money or anything like that, but more so like, what can I give to people that allow people to feel valued? Where can I give value exchange? How can I tick the box and solve problems for other people and be the solution for them? And I think when you're on a path to tick those boxes, you end up building one of the biggest empires. You end up just you do. Obtaining everything essentially, because you've gone, rather than going for the things along, you've gone for the very end of the direct purpose.
Yes.
And I think as well, like just enjoying the process. Like you said earlier, I like what you said. It's never about just trying to get to the end, but rather you should enjoy the process. And
you should.
Success isn't a destination, but rather a journey. So even when I tick these boxes, I'm not even, it's not the end, it's just ongoing.
Exactly.
I love that
process. Yeah, honestly. So again, we're very we share the same sentiment. We are very similar in that respect, right? So it's about helping other people, allowing them to see value within themselves. You do that through the fashion, and I'm doing that through showing them that they can get to their career, for example, right? So we're both trying to show people that they have the ability, but in different ways. I think it's been great to talk to you about your journey and your initiative and why you're doing it as well. And it shows that you really care about people, right? You really put people's happiness, at the forefront of your business. I really love when you were talking about giving them and showing them they have value, and that's so important, so imperative really, for people to believe in themselves. I think you briefly touched on this, but where do your ideas come from for your designs?
Usually, sometimes it can be just, so I go around London quite a lot. I'm usually in central London like all the time.
Same.
So I'm seeing just like different people with different ways they dress. I'm seeing like buildings, the art. Like I go to art galleries all the time. It's just everything I'm just always seeing. It's like it's always creating a picture in my mind, and it's making me just a very creative person. So essentially, I try to surround myself in affluent areas, places of affluence, you know, just to
Yes.
increase the standard of what I'm trying to project and what I'm trying to do. So yeah, sometimes it can be the things that mean personal, mean a lot to me personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just put them on the clothing and
It's
just thinking
interesting.
about how to make it maybe appealing. But even with that, I've started to, again, with like just central London and me being more in those areas, a lot of it is minimalist. So with designing the clothes now, my focus has been more on having less going on, but putting more into the design and the fabric and the creation of it, rather than having so much going on, but then the foundation is weak. For example, like Rolls-Royce, the logo is so simple, but
so effective.
The car is just
simple but
mad.
effective.
The car is just crazy.
And
it's the components of it, you know, it's like, you know, just a black car with an angel on top of the thing with RR as the logo, but then you've got the things like the doors opening the different ways.
I know, that's
back
crazy.
seat, the champagne cup holders at the back,
Yeah,
got the steering wheel as well. And that's like fashion, you know, like a lot of people, a logo and what it stands for is everything.
It is.
Putting that logo on the brand, when branded well and marketed well and explained what this thing actually means, you know, you don't need to do too much to sell it. For example, there's a Christian Dior top, which is I think it's like £500, but people, they're buying it, and the reason they're buying it is because they're buying into the story of Christian Dior. They know the process of this brand, they know the depth, made in Italy, the fabrics and silhouettes are proper. There's a story behind it, and there's a depth of explanation as to what the brand stands for, and people want to be associated with that. So even if they're releasing just plain t-shirts, the fact that Dior and attach that story, you know, people will empty the bank account to buy that. So yeah, you know,
it's so true. People buy into the story. People buy into a story, and clearly you, with your business and setting it up, you are creating that narrative, creating that story that people are buying into, clearly, because you are doing very well with that. And just congratulations to you as well. Just seeing your journey is very, very inspirational, and it is commendable as well. But you mentioned at the beginning that you started a new fashion line. Do you want to briefly just tell us about that as well?
So essentially, with Inspire Dynasty, I didn't there was no research. It was just that, I'm gonna be honest, it was just vibes. Like, I just started, I registered the company, it was just vibes. But I learned so much along the process. I don't know how things went as well as they did, because they shouldn't have, but they did.
They did.
And that's when I knew that this was a very natural thing to me, even though I was never someone that I couldn't dress back in the day. I was wearing jeans and football boots like most young people, and that stopped like year 9, which is mad late. But yeah, no. With this second one, essentially, is like everything I've learned through Inspire Dynasty, I can start this way with the second one. And the difference between, so it's called J Ramel. J is my first name. Ramel is a middle name, nickname.
J Ramel.
Essentially, the pieces are going to be all manufactured and created in Italy or Portugal.
Right.
The silhouettes all from there as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this until like 2 weeks after I registered the company. Ramel is actually an Italian name, which is quite funny. But yeah,
it works out. It works out.
Yeah.
Works out.
Same thing happened with Inspire as well. But yeah, so with that, the plan for that is essentially to be a lot more exclusive, less accessible, and to match the likes of like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Christian Dior, as I mentioned. So these guys are doing research on, and obviously I had Inspire Dynasty, but this Inspire Dynasty has its own story, which I've been molding for 4 years. So to now go and switch that up would confuse the people who are with Inspire Dynasty now.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Again, what they've come for. And I was reading a book called The 22 Laws of Branding, and it speaks about never to build different things under the same house.
Right.
So Inspire Dynasty has always been like, it's not cheap, it's affordable, but the quality is amazing for the price you're getting it at.
Yeah.
And that narrative, that's the story of the brand, because it's been built for a couple of years now. But now if I just decided to change it and make it exclusive prices, that
it'd be a bit confusing.
Exactly. And the people who come to Inspire, they're not with Inspire to spend that much.
Yes.
And then they'd go somewhere else. So essentially it would kill what I'm building. So I had to take the initiative to say, okay, cool. And now that I've learned all of this, what am I going to do with this knowledge?
Exactly.
So I didn't want to cap myself to just one element of the fashion game.